What up, nerds? It's your boy Bob, and I regret to inform you there will be no new episode this week. The boys and I are kicking it down in the Big Easy, attending the Overlook Film Festival once again, watching all the movies, and actually hanging out with some of you fine listeners as well. So while we're doing that, we did still want to make sure that we drop an episode for you this week. And we've got a very large back catalog of mini casts and bonus episodes that we've released over on Patreon, and we wanted to select one of those and put it out on the main feed for you today. So about 3 years ago, Juice and myself sat down and we ranked the entire Friday the 13th franchise. We talked about every single movie, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and then ranked them at the end of it. And we thought that might be something worth reposting. You know, that's a very popular franchise. I know a lot of you listeners out there are pretty fond of it. So without further ado, here is a little taste of what you might find over on our Patreon. Hope you guys are doing well. Take care of yourself. And until next week, as always, keep chilling.
If you want something done right, you ought to do it yourself.
What up, nerds, and welcome to another mini cast in which we bring you a bite-sized version of the show you already know and love. I am your boy Bob, and with me today is my right-hand man, Soju. What's up?
Oh, what up? It's your boy Soju.
Soju.
Dude, I always like doing these mini casts with someone else. I don't mind doing them on my own, but, you know, it's always best to tag team them.
Yeah, the tag team, like wrestling. We're big wrestling fans.
Yeah, oh, yeah. We were when we were in 6th grade.
Totally. It's nice to bounce off somebody. And today we're going to be celebrating Friday the 13th by talking about the entire franchise.
Woo, we got a long ways to go.
12 movies. That's a shitload.
Is it 12? I thought it was 13.
12, yeah.
Wait, are you counting Freddy vs. Jason as well? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, my bad.
I'm not crazy. Yeah, 12. Yeah, the next one, should they ever make another one, would be the 13th. Yeah, that's right. So yeah, including Freddy vs. Jason and the remake.
Yep. Okay. Yep. I was one off. My bad.
So we're just gonna start from the beginning of the franchise and work through them chronologically, and then we'll give some sort of like rating at the end. We'll see how that all works out. I guess let's start from the top by just saying like this, there's sort of like a blanket spoiler warning on these movies. Cause like in order to talk about them, we're going to have to spoil them to some degree, but also they're like, I don't know, they're slashers. So like there's only so much you can really spoil about most of these movies anyway.
Yeah. If any, like this is the one franchise where hardly anything could seriously get spoiled for you. Yeah. I would feel like maybe that first one, other than that, you're good.
Yeah, if you don't know how the original Friday the 13th ends, then fast forward a few minutes.
Yeah, and then you're fine.
Or just go watch it. Just go watch it right now. But yeah, the rest is kind of pretty straightforward stuff for the most part. But the original Friday the 13th came out in 1980. We did a full like normal show about this last Friday the 13th.
Yeah, just last summer, yeah.
Yeah. So check that out if you want our full thoughts. But I mean, it's a classic. The beginning of the franchise, of course, Jason is not really the killer in this movie, which is sort of the big reveal at the end. His mother is killing all these little campers and counselors.
Don't even know who Jason is, or like Jason. Yeah. I mean, I guess you do, but it doesn't even matter. I know the big stinger at the end of that one was like, "Oh, Jason's still out there." And at the time, you're like, "Who gives a fuck?"
Yeah,
he's a kid.
Yeah, and you're also like, it could have been a dream that she had. Like, we don't know for sure in the first movie that kid is still alive, but then he comes back in all the sequels and he's murdering people. So like, it's confirmed that it's not a dream, but I think originally it was sort of intended to be a dream sequence, you know?
Yeah. So I remember talking about this last year, and how I'm going to talk about these films today is completely within the franchise. So even last year when we were covering Friday the 13th as a film and ranking it, like, oh, what star you give, I'm going to kind of be talking about them not as just like horror films, but Friday the 13th films.
Okay.
So that's kind of how I'm gonna go off of it. And while this is like not a perfect movie, we kind of pointed out some of the flaws that it had last time, like kind of maybe shallow character development, stuff like that. To me, this is still one of the best without Jason in it. I know, but it's got those big summer camp vibes, which I feel like this franchise is almost kind of like maybe not equally split in half, but it gets to a point where they have to kind of abandon a little bit of the summer campness.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's this kind of Friday the 13th split of where it's like more almost about the summer camp vibes. And then there's this split where it's more about Jason Voorhees, the hulking kind of giant.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, the I don't know, the original, the classic, it introduces Jason sort of, but not as we know him today, not as we envision him today. But it does sort of begin this whole murder spree at, a campground, which is sort of now baked into like just folklore. I don't know. You got to watch it if you haven't. It's definitely one of the best of the franchise. It's not my favorite of the franchise, and I feel like that's not uncommon for people. It's not the first one I reach to if I want to like throw a Friday the 13th movie on, but it's still one of the best in the franchise, easily.
For sure.
Moving on, Friday the 13th Part 2 came out a year later. Just a year later. They were cranking
actually this franchise dominated the 80s. So the first one, because I was looking, I was like, when did Manhattan come out? So Friday the 13th, the first one came out in 1980, and by the time Manhattan came out, which was the last one of the 80s, it was 89, and that was Part 8. So they pretty much almost released one every year in the 80s, which is nuts.
They were pulling a Saw. Saw did that for a while, like a movie a year.
Yeah. Cranking these things out. Damn. All in the summertime, though, which is what I appreciate that, though, because like going with this first one and even the second one, man, they have great summertime horror vibes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I really like the second one. It is the introduction of the adult Jason, or like Baghead Jason as sometimes he's referred to. He doesn't have his hockey mask quite yet.
Mm-hmm.
But he is the hulking, scary figure stalking kids in the woods and killing them off one by one. It's back at the summer camp. It's exclusively camp counselors. They show up and they're sort of like getting the camp ready. They're preparing it for the campers to arrive, and he's just killing these counselors. I like this one quite a bit. It's one of my favorite sequels in the franchise. It's got a really strong final girl, I think, who sort of like outsmarts Jason in the end, and it's got some of the most memorable kill sequences, I think, as well.
Yeah, I watched this one recently because I was going through the franchise for this. And at the time when I watched it, I was like, oh, it's not quite as good as I remember, because Jason's not as hulking. He's kind of more scheming. He's at one point he's standing on a chair to hide his legs and stuff. And it's a little more silly. And at the time I was like, oh, yeah, I don't know. This didn't hold up as good as I thought. But then when I watched the other ones, I was like, oh, I know why this sticks out in my mind as one of the best, because it is. It is. Like, by comparison and talking within this franchise, it's definitely in the top half for sure. Like, definitely towards the top. And I would say, actually, this has some of the best chemistry between the people involved too. Yeah. For a franchise that has no kind of like Laurie Strode or any strong characters that last multiple movies, this one I feel like has the best, or some of the best kind of chemistry amongst the characters that actually make you like kind of like them or care about them in some way. So it definitely has that going for it, and it carries on the summertime vibes like super well in this one too. Yeah,
there's I like the counselors quite a bit in this movie. Mm-hmm. There's that one guy, I can't remember his name, but he he goes to the bar, and then this like huge
The skinny guy. Yeah.
this huge rainstorm like rolls in, so he just decides to like chill at the bar and have some beers or whatever, and he just lives because he leaves the camp.
That dude is like the wildest guy, but he has this like crazy energy that just kind of makes you like him. And yeah, he just kind of survives.
Yeah. Good for him. One of the kill sequences in this is that always sticks out of my mind when I think of this franchise is the I can't remember the character's name. He's one of the counselors. He's the guy that's in the wheelchair, and he gets like chopped in the head. And there's this crazy tall staircase that he like rolls down backwards. It's insane.
It's nuts. And that dude's like super, like people are actually likable in this movie. I think even more than the first one. Yeah. I remember us talking about how shallow, even though Kevin Bacon's in there, how shallow those people kind of are. This one is similar, but for some reason they just casted better. People just have a certain energy and they have a good chemistry together. And yeah, that poor dude in the wheelchair, he's about to get laid.
He gets killed so dirty.
Oh my God. That shit's nuts. That's also, this one's got the harpoon through the bed, I think, or the spear, maybe spear through the bed. That's a pretty iconic one too. This one's got some good kill scenes. Yeah,
good shit. You ready to move on to part 3?
Oh, I guess so.
Yeah, this is the first kind of dip. Friday the 13th Part 3 came out in 1982. So this, I guess the most iconic thing about this installment is that it is the birth of the Jason Voorhees that we know with the hockey mask. It's a movie where he gets his mask.
That literally, I think, is the only notable thing about this film, in my opinion. It's so bad. It's so bad.
Yeah, and they also, this was like shot in 3D, so they really lean on that gimmick, that 3D gimmick. And when you're watching it at the house, it's not in 3D for the most part, unless you got a 3D TV. And they just like linger on those like 3D shots, and it's so hokey when they do.
Yeah, there's one of like a yo-yo, literally. So you just sit there and watch it do a yo-yo go at the screen up for because they want. Oh my God. But yeah, there's like a snake that jumps out of the screen. It's bad. And to kind of counter off too, this has some of the worst characters in it. Oh my God. It's got that biker gang, that barn. And because of that barn, there was something about it. It just kept giving me serious Halloween 5 vibes, which I also just really didn't like Halloween 5. And I couldn't help but just like put those two films like in the same category in my mind. I was like, fucking barns, apparently. These just scenes that go on and on and on in a goddamn barn. It's just, God, this one, I had a really hard time. And then that's when I was like, 2 was so much better. Okay, I remember now.
Yeah. Ooh. Part 3 is also sort of infamous for having the character Shelley, who's kind of like the jokester, and he's the one that brings the mask and all these like gags with him. God. And that's where Jason gets the mask. And I guess one interesting thing about that guy is he then went on to, he doesn't act anymore, but now he's an entertainment lawyer. And whenever this like big Friday the 13th lawsuit started happening, he would specifically like break down the lawsuit and explain it in layman's terms, so like fans of the franchise could kind of understand what's happening. And he's kind of like, he's the go-to guy now. Like he's always
interesting.
Always on the internet explaining this shit to everybody. So thank you for doing that.
Yeah. That character though, oh God.
Yeah.
That character is like one of the worst. That's like, he's like Franklin level bad, where you're like, die, please die.
Franklin from Texas Chainsaw. That is absolutely the same type of character. Yeah. He's not great. There might be like a couple cool kills in this, but overall, like it's not particularly great. It's one to sort of laugh at as it moves along, and you know, there's like a weird snake kill that they linger on, I think, because it's in 3D. You know, it's just like
a dude dies on a toilet.
Yeah. So,
which actually, that's not the only toilet kill in the franchise. What was the other one?
Part 6.
Was it? Yeah. I think there might even be another one. There might be a few toilet kills.
Disrespectful is what it is. All right. Anything else you want to say about this one before we move on?
No, this one's bad. This is one of the worst. Like one of the worst.
It's not great. Yeah. So next installment, Friday the 13th, part 4 was called The Final Chapter, which not even close. Came out 1984. So there's a 2-year gap between 3 and 4. And this is a pretty solid installment. It sort of gets a little bit better here. Tommy Jarvis's character is sort of introduced in this movie. It's not really like set at a camp. It's sort of like a family chilling at this cabin, and it just happens to be on Crystal Lake. And Jason kills this family, and then there's another group of like teens and
teenagers,
in a cabin next door, and they're partying. So he's just sort of killing random people that are hanging out on the lake, basically.
Yeah.
I don't know. How did you feel about this one?
This one's definitely one of the best. Old Jarvis, he's sweet, like he's a kid or whatever. And Corey Feldman, he's super young in this.
Yeah.
But he's a cool little character. He's like got his little personality where he makes the mask, and he's also kicking ass where he's just fixing shit and takes down fucking Jason in the end. And then this has got some cool kills too. The teens in this one are ridiculous. You know, they're not particularly like likable, but you enjoy kind of watching them go in crazy ways. So that's nice. The impotent hunter is in this one. Oh God, he's killing me. That shit is iconic. Like, it's Kelly. That's it.
Who would scream that? Like,
oh God, he's killing me.
In case you didn't know, he is killing me.
So, I mean, this is why. Yeah, this is good. This is a good one. I would go to this one for a watch. Yeah, it's got some solid summer vibes, but not like quite as much as 1 and 2 because it's at the camps or whatever. But still, this one's good. I like this one a lot.
Yeah, this is definitely one of my favorites. It's also got a young Crispin Glover in it.
Yeah.
He's one of the teens, and his dance moves are just like out of this world in this movie.
But is he rocking the crazy shorts in this one?
I don't think so. Or
was somebody else in the okay. Man, there's one where some dude's got some crazy shorts.
I think that's most of them.
Yeah, so I think one's got some pretty good shorts too. Yeah. Ooh.
There's some pretty good kill sequences. Specifically, at the end of this movie, Jason himself gets killed in a really gruesome way. I think this is also the movie in the franchise that sort of like begins Jason bursting through every door and window you can find.
I was just about to say that. This is the one where I remember he starts busting some fucking glass nonstop. And dude, that shit's 7. I remember there was a lot of fucking glass, but this one specifically, it's like, holy God. I think this one where the fucking dog goes flying through the window. Like, Jason just bursts through a door, fucking Kool-Aid Man status.
Breaking all that sugar glass.
Yeah.
Solid installment in the franchise. Had they actually ended it on this movie, it would have been a really great ending, I think.
Yeah.
But they did not. They made 8 more.
Oh, no. Within the next year. Like, a final installment. No, next year.
Jokes. Yeah. Anything else you want to mention about this one?
Nah.
All right. Friday the 13th, A New Beginning was the 5th film in the franchise, came out in 1985. They actually tried to stick with the whole Jason is dead in this movie. So
yeah.
There's kind of like a copycat killer, and I guess they were going to just reboot the franchise and potentially have Tommy Jarvis sort of take up the mantle of Jason. They sort of hint at that at the end of part 4. But they kind of swerve from that idea and don't go with that. And they have like just another copycat killer, which is not my favorite, really. I think I don't love that idea. How did this sit with you, Juice?
Yeah, the thing about this one is it doesn't have like the fun summer vibes because they go to this kind of farm-esque area for like troubled teens, and old Jarvis is there, but he's not, Corey Feldman, he's not a kid. So it's not even the character you care about. So I'm just like, I don't know what the motivation for this kind of movie is. It's not like the absolute worst thing, but it's pretty low. And also the fact that it just doesn't like matter in any kind of Friday the 13th lore or vibe. It kind of sticks out in that way where like, why should you even watch this movie?
Yeah.
From a Friday the 13th standpoint, no camp, no Jason, kind of Bobby Jarvis, but there's no, whatever.
Yeah. It doesn't. It tries to stick with the continuity of everything, but in doing so, it abandons everything that makes a Friday the 13th movie a Friday the 13th movie, really.
Yeah.
So it does have
that was also a reference to our gaming days, right? when old Bob Jarvis would show up in that game. And want anybody to think I was totally like skipping on the Tommy.
This guy doesn't even know who Tommy Jarvis is.
If you don't know, that's an inside joke from when we would all play Friday the 13th as a squad. And Bob's not super good at video games, but he's always seemed to get the character of Tommy Jarvis. And so he was dubbed Bobby Jarvis.
I would just lose so hard every time.
That was a lot of fun.
It was fun. Yeah, I don't know. There's not much of a reason to watch this movie. I don't even recall any of the kills. Like, nothing really stands out to me.
Yeah, I just watched it and I can't remember. But that one dude that just goes crazy and kills that one kid with an axe, which is why the one dude goes crazy. He kills some greasers. But yeah, a lot of it is kind of shot off screen and then you see the results.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot of good kills that I remember from this one.
Yeah.
This one's just a kind of a big nothing.
It's a weird sort of middle movie that just did not progress the franchise in any way. And it's not particularly interesting.
No.
And I think the creators picked up on the fact that fans didn't enjoy this. So they sort of pivoted from that and said, fuck it, let's just go ahead and bring Jason back in part 6. Friday the 13th, part 6, Jason Lives, came out in 1986. And it kind of starts off, it's almost like a Frankenstein story where like Tommy Jarvis digs up Jason Voorhees' body just to like be sure that he is dead and in a grave. And in doing so, he gets struck by lightning and reanimated. And now he's like a full-blown zombie Frankenstein version of Jason Voorhees.
Yeah.
Full supernatural here. They definitely lean into the comedy. It's very much a comedy. It's self-aware. And this is the only installment in the franchise that has no nudity whatsoever.
Yeah, that's its only knock.
4.5. Could have been a 5, but nope, 4.5.
No, yeah, this one's great. This one's a lot of fun. I think coming off that last one, leaning into the comedy aspect, the ridiculous. This is where each time after this, they pretty much just take a wild swing each time. And it doesn't always work out, but it's kind of what makes this franchise interesting in a lot of ways, because each entry after this, where they're just like, well, fuck it, we're going to do something crazy. And it's just wild. It's kind of cool to watch this guy who can't die. What kind of crazy situations are they going to put him into?
Yeah.
This is when the kills start really ramping up. This is when the goofiness like really starts ramping up. But it's for the better. It's hard to say that because some of my favorite films were in the first half of this movie, but I feel like it's for the better of once you get to the 6th entry, like really, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Like the 6th entry of Friday the 13th is much better than the 6th entry of like Halloween, for instance.
Yeah,
so.
I would agree with that statement. Alice Cooper even writes like a theme song for this movie, and he had a music video, and like they really lean into like the self-aware hamminess, and I definitely think it was a smart choice to do that. They kind of stopped taking themselves so seriously, and the kills are like comedic. Like, you know, we were talking about there's a kid who gets killed on the shitter again in this, and he's like, he ate some enchiladas that like messed his stomach up, and he's like in the middle of cursing the enchiladas when he gets killed. It's pretty ridiculous, but it's got like a really badass Jason Voorhees design. He's got like this like green jacket on. He's like, you know, half rotten, like he's got worms coming out of his face and stuff. He looks like pretty gnarly, pretty spooky. But the comedy really like sends this one over the top. And this is one that I think, because it leans into the comedy, is like infinitely rewatchable for me. I reach for this one more often than not. But I dig it.
I know we covered this like way back in the day before I was like super familiar with the franchise or even horror films. And like this was in our first 60 something episodes, maybe ish. Yeah. And so I don't know. I have no idea what I ranked it at the time, but over, you know, becoming more familiar with this franchise and just horror films in general and horror comedy, this has become kind of one of my favorites too. It really, taking these wild swings now and just kind of leaning. I mean, the lightning strike, this one's just a lot of fun to watch. It really is just a good time.
Yeah, I agree. Anything else you want to mention before we roll on?
No, I mean, other than the fact that like, man, I mean, it took, you know, 4, 5, and 6 to establish some kind of returnable character. I know that, I think the girl is in like 2 and 3, but I mean, nobody else matters in this franchise except, you know, Tommy Jarvis. He's kind of the only one who has any kind of lasting influence, I guess.
Yeah.
Even if it's temporary.
Alice, the character is in the first one, comes back and is only in the first scene of the second one.
Yeah.
Then, there's not a whole lot of continuity here, but you get this weird like Tommy Jarvis trilogy in like 4, 5, and 6, which is a very weird trilogy. But I think part six brings him back, and he's a lot of fun. Part 7. You ready?
Yeah.
All right.
Sure.
The New Blood from 1988. Go for it. How did this hit you?
I was just going to say, okay, so now each time we're going to get a movie, we're going to say the shtick is.
Yeah, exactly.
So the shtick in this one is there's a telekinetic girl and he has to fight her in the end. You know, this is one of those ones that I think if we do like an overall kind of ranking or breaking these apart, this is one of those ones where it's like, it's not one of the best ones, but it's got some fun things about it. And it's like, it's okay enough to not shun, you know, for me. I would say like, yeah, I could probably get in the mood to watch this one. And I like things about it, like when he takes his mask off in this one, his crazy face. This one's also very goofy in some ways. This girl's telekinetic, and so they kind of have a showdown, and that's like different. I don't know. Like it's okay. Like this one, it's ridiculous, but I'm okay with it. But I don't like crave to watch this one. How do you feel about this one?
Yeah, I'm on the same page. I really like the idea, the sort of like Jason Voorhees versus Carrie White. And there is a neat showdown, and there's like this massive fire stunt that Kane Hodder does in this movie where he's on fire for like, I don't know, close to a minute or something like that. It was one of the longest fire stunts ever done. And I like the sort of the ending where like Jason is sort of, he's like damned to like remain in the lake that he came from, which is kind of a cool like full circle moment. But I like
that too.
It's not like overtly successful in the premise, like, you know, the tagline of like, you know, Carrie versus Jason sounds fucking badass, but like by the end of it, you're not like totally like cashed in on that idea, I don't think. But yeah, it's like a middle installment. It's not terrible. It's not great.
Yeah.
You could do worse, and we will talk about those.
Yeah. The crazy thing about it is, so 6, Tommy Jarvis throws him in the lake too. And then this girl has her, I think it's more impactful and more memorable in 7, where she like throws him chained to the bottom of the lake. But it also happens in 6, and it's because of her powers freaking out that she frees him. But it feels more memorable in 7, right?
It does.
The same, they both end the same way, essentially.
You're right. You're right. 7, it sticks out though. I don't know why
it does. I agree with you. I like that idea too, where I like that each one of these kind of adds this little bit of lore to Jason each time. 2 is kind of big, where his mom's head is in the little cabin and stuff. But I like this for like later installments, where it's kind of like his weakness, his kryptonite is the water or the lake or whatever. Like, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it adds to the lore of Jason. It's like the only thing that can really defeat him. That, and like, I guess if you cosplay as his mom and confuse him, you can
sure,
do that too.
Or as himself.
Yeah. Apparently, he's easily confused, I guess. So part 7, not terrible, not amazing. Kind of a middle installment. You ready to tackle part 8?
This is Manhattan, right?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan, came out in 1989. The shtick is he goes to Manhattan, but not really.
I know. In like the last like fucking 10 minutes or some shit.
Yeah.
It's more than that, I think, but it's mostly on a boat.
Yeah, he's just killing people on a boat.
This movie's boring as shit.
I agree.
Like,
one of the worst in the franchise, and one of the longest too.
This movie's dumb in its premise of like, he gets out of that, I don't know, he gets on the boat and he stays on the boat for so long, and then he goes to the city that's supposed to be Manhattan. That's not really Manhattan. He boxes with somebody, kind of. Oh man, this one's rough.
This is the longest one of the franchise. It's an hour and 40 minutes long.
Okay.
I think, if memory serves, like, they had a lot of really cool set pieces and like scenes written for this movie where he was going to be killing people at like very notable landmarks throughout New York City. But they just couldn't afford to film in New York City, but for like a day or something. So they just had to write this, hour-long sequence where like this cruise ship somehow gets into Crystal Lake and then like picks up all these kids and then goes to Manhattan. They're taking a cruise from Crystal Lake to Manhattan somehow. I don't know, but he's on this boat and he's killing all these kids. And then they finally get to Manhattan, and there's like maybe 1 or 2 cool kills, but damn, you're just like waiting and waiting and waiting for this dude to get to Manhattan, and it just takes forever. It takes forever.
And then when he gets there, it's super dated too. So when you're in the city, there's like punks with mohawks, and he kicks their boombox, and so it's super dated too. Like, even when you get to the city, it's not the kind of New York that we think of now. It's like the shitty New York, like the really shitty one where you didn't really even want to go there in the first place. So it's like, damn, why are we going there in a movie in the last 10 minutes?
I don't know. Like the general idea of it sounds badass, but again, they don't deliver that premise. You just don't really get what you're being sold here. Which is a bit of a theme carrying on to the next movie. Is there anything else you want to mention about Manhattan?
No, this one's boring as fuck.
It's very forgettable and one of the worst of the franchise for sure. Part 9. We got Jason Goes to Hell, the final Friday. Yet again, the final Friday. Jason Goes to Hell. So I watched this for the first time last year with you when I came to Florida. I don't know how we ended up watching this, but I'm kind of glad we did, because I didn't rewatch it this time because I remember it being pretty ridiculous and not really liking it very much. But so I can't remember it in intimate detail, but Jason is a worm, a possession worm, right? Am I remembering that correctly? Yeah. So the shtick in this one we really aren't going to hell here in this movie at all. So again, they don't deliver on the premise.
Yeah.
But so Jason is sort of like a spirit that's embodied in this like weird slug thing that can jump from body to body. And so like he is not bound in the figure of Jason Voorhees as we know him. So like we see all these other characters going around killing people and not the character of Jason Voorhees. Which is not really what you want from a Friday the 13th movie.
Especially one called Jason Goes to Hell.
Mm-hmm. No Jason, and no hell.
And no hell. Again, like Jason Goes Man, what are they like? They're screwing themselves in a way. So you're like, I'm not going to trust you guys anymore. Also, this is the only 90s after kicking out almost 10 in the 80s. This is the only 90s Jason. Not good either, in my opinion.
No, it's pretty.
I don't care too much for this one.
It's pretty bad. I think if you put it on and know that you're not going to get Jason Voorhees in it, like there are some goofy, fun moments that you can sort of laugh along with. There's this ridiculous bounty hunter that they hire, who is like kind of an interesting character, and he's talking about donuts and shit at length, which is weird. And there's like this diner he goes into, and they make these Jason Voorhees pancakes. There's just like really goofy shit that's sort of self-referential in this movie. It's just less successful than part 6. So like there are some jokes that land and some decent kills, and there's also like some wild lore that they add in here where like Jason can only be killed by a relative, and he has to be killed with this dagger that looks like it's straight out of The Evil Dead, and there is a Necronomicon in this. So like they just throw all kinds of nonsense at the wall. So like if you sort of detach this movie from the Friday the 13th franchise and watch it separately, there's like some interesting things about it, but it's if you look at it, you know, through like the lens of a Friday the 13th movie, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, and this is the one that sets up, like they were trying to set up that Ash situation, I think, with the Necronomicon, but this is the one where at the end you get the Freddy glove that leads to Freddy versus Jason. So I mean, you know, I don't think this is the worst one in the franchise, but it's definitely going to be toward the bottom for me. I mean, when you have a movie called Jason Goes to Hell, it's the 9th entry in the series, and Jason does not go to hell and is not in this movie, and he's a worm. I do remember there's like some cool, they kind of do the black throw up thing, right? And somebody like throw up in someone's mouth or something, or and the coroner is eating Jason's rotting flesh or something.
His heart. I think he eats his heart.
Yeah. God, what?
I don't know.
Yeah. Weird movie.
Swinging for the fences on that one. Not great.
Yeah, I'll respect that, though. I mean, like we said, when you get to 9 and you're like, yeah, what are we going to do? I mean, that's something. Jason's a worm, I guess. Trying
something different.
Yeah, might as well.
So that was the only Friday the 13th movie in the 90s. And then we get 3 in the 2000s. The first of those is the 10th installment. Jason X came out in 2001. And you just watched this, and I believe you enjoyed it.
Dude, I watched it last night and never watched this movie before. Since I was going through the franchise, we were going to do this mini cast. I was like, I'm going to go and do it. And I was thinking like, oh, it's probably going to win the poll or whatever, which I guess we still don't know at this point.
Right.
But, dude, oh my God. I was so pleasantly surprised. Because where the other ones are Jason Goes to Manhattan and Jason Goes to Hell, this one delivers. Jason is in space and they go full on with it. Just shitty ass graphics and like, dude, I'm like, it looks like a Nickelodeon special or something. Dude, it's but I was like, it was cracking me up, dude. It was legit cracking me up. I really had a lot of fun with it. And just like on my own too, I wasn't like watching with anybody or anything. I really had a fun time with it. It's so dumb. It's so dumb.
Yeah, it's a big dumb movie, but it does fully deliver on the premise, whereas the previous two movies just did not. Three really.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's goofy. It's got the Uber Jason, where he's basically the fucking Terminator, and his mask is like made of steel or whatever.
Yeah, toward the end, where he this robot chick who's a Yabos fall off.
I hate it when that happens.
Dude, I don't want to talk too much about this one and why I love it so much, because we might actually be covering it in the full length soon. Yeah. But it's just like he gets for like the most actually of the movie, he's just walking around as this rotting Jason because he was frozen and then unfrozen like 400 years later. And then it's so wild. It's actually not that long. It's about an hour and a half, but they do so much in that movie. It's nuts, dude. I was like, you sons of bitches. You did it. You did it. They really did. And you know what? This is one that swung for the fences. And at least, you know what? It's so cheesy. And the effects are so bad. But if you're going to like say Jason goes to space, then make Jason go to space. And they did. They fucking did it. I appreciate that shit.
Yeah, there's a couple pretty solid kills in this one, like two specifically that really stand out. So yeah, if you want like just a B movie ass, like real ham-fisted version of Jason Voorhees in space killing people, this delivers on that. Check it out.
100% delivers on that, like to the max. They try to give you as much space as possible.
All the space.
Yeah.
You ready to move on? Next one.
Yep.
We got another movie dropped in the 2000s, came out 2003, called Freddy vs. Jason, the 11th installment. And this one, again, they fully deliver on the shtick.
Yeah, and they follow up on Jason Goes to Hell.
Yeah, they finally make good. It only took a decade.
Yeah, 10 years. But I guess they couldn't go through with it as fully as they wanted to, because I think they wanted Ash involved in this, or at least a sequel to in some way involved.
Right.
Eventually.
Yeah. I think that is correct. Man, I haven't seen this one in quite some time. It's got Kelly Rowland in it, which I forgot she even really had much of an acting career.
Who's that?
Isn't she in TLC? She's one of the 3 members of TLC.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I know. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know. This is like super goofy. It leans into a lot of the comedy. I don't know. How did this one hit you?
I like this one because, again, it delivers on the shtick, and it's fun. Like, it's fun to have Freddy and Jason together, and I feel like they fully develop that portion of it. I feel like the worst parts of this film is the fact that you have to have other characters in it that just don't matter. And anytime that they have to be involved, unfortunately, it's like the worst part of the movies. But you got to have people for them to kill, and carry some kind of story around. But I mean, I don't want to go too far into this one either, because we also potentially could cover this one, but just having Freddy he says bitch all the time. So it's like the ridiculous Freddy. And then you even get like Freddy Krueger going to Crystal Lake, or then you have Jason and Freddy's like boiler room, and like they at both times are kind of beating each other, but then they also are able to put each other in cool situations where they're killing teens. You're seeing Freddy Krueger killing teens at Crystal Lake. Like it's just kind of wild. I don't know. I like this one in a kind of fun way.
I do. I got to apologize to all fans of Kelly Rowland. She was in Destiny's Child, not TLC.
Destiny's Child. Okay.
Yeah, I haven't seen this one in a few years, but I remember like the shtick was a little like, it wasn't enough to fully like bring me into the movie. Like it sort of like, it was a little much. I kind of just wanted to see like Freddy do his thing or Jason do his thing. Like them fighting each other was not really something that I was like dying to see. and it wasn't interesting enough, I guess. Like, they do try to like best each other and like, you know, isolate each other's weaknesses. But it just wasn't like super interesting to me. I'd rather just have sort of like a straightforward Friday the 13th movie, I think, than see them both battle it out.
Rewatch this one though.
Yeah, I need to revisit it and see if I still feel that way. Who knows? We might be talking about it at length in a few days. We'll see.
Yeah.
Not a terrible installment though. Definitely better than a lot of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else you want to say about it?
No. That's it.
All right. This brings us to the 12th installment of the franchise. The remake came out in 2009, just called Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
Pretty decent remake, I think. It doesn't like reinvent the wheel necessarily. It kind of takes the first like original 3 movies and like crams them into one. We like we skip straight to like full grown Jason. There's not like a whole lot going on with his mom. There's, you know, some sort of like folklore going around, like Camp Crystal Lake, don't go there. Bad stuff happened in the past. And then we've got this, you know, new impotent hunter rolling in on his motorcycle looking for his sister that's gone missing. Yeah. And he, of course, finds out what's going down at Camp Crystal Lake. We see Jason get his mask, so he looks, you know, like the full-blown proper Jason Voorhees, like we know. He's got a little lair where he's like holding people hostages, and he's sort of like an outdoorsman in this movie. I guess he's like a he's truly living off the land, and he's not necessarily like a supernatural being, so to speak. And I guess he's like growing pot or something. I don't know. There's like a weed farm involved.
Yeah, there was. That's what the teens were looking for at the beginning. Yeah. I remember a few years ago, I tried to watch this movie and it just like, I could not get through it. Like, I think there's like this whole opening kind of segment with this set of teens. It takes about like 20 to 25 minutes to kind of set up everything that's going on. And I just couldn't get past that part. And I've kind of forced myself to watch it. Maybe within the past week, I think, and like get through it. And to me, there were some cool ideas here, but this is one of those things where they're not playing it silly.
Right.
They try to do that kind of grounded, gritty thing. And it kind of reminded me a little bit of that kind of like Texas Chainsaw, where even some of the kills, they're brutal, but they're almost like sickly brutal, where it's got like this kind of like torture element to it or something. There's this girl who like burns alive in a sleeping bag. It's just like, it's not very fun to watch this movie. And the acting is very bad in it. And the story like doesn't really matter that much. And so when you take all the fun out of it and when you just try to give it this kind of like brutal, grounded feel, but the acting is terrible and shit like that, I'm just like, it feels very soulless to me. And I didn't really enjoy it. I mean, it's like decent enough as a film to just watch, but I wasn't really about this one. I had some cool ideas though. One of them being they made Jason huge, and that was cool. And they made like he was fucking fast. He was like running after bitches. He wasn't just slowly stalking around. But I kind of liked in the beginning where he had his face all wrapped up and he doesn't have the mask yet, and he's like running after people. But yeah, he's got this like lair like under the cabins and it's like tunnels, and I don't know. I thought it was too complicated, a little bit up its own ass, a little bit. But yeah, a little soul.
I think they tried to make it more grounded, like you said. Like he's like a survivalist almost.
Yeah.
And this was like a Platinum Dunes production, so it does have that Texas Chainsaw look. You know, they kind of, they made that Texas Chainsaw remake, and it was pretty successful. So they're like, well, let's do it again. And I think this is definitely less successful than their Texas Chainsaw outing was. Texas Chainsaw like was always at its best when it was like grounded and gritty and dirty. So if you do that in a remake, it makes sense. But yeah, you are right in saying that this loses all sort of like levity and funness. which I really appreciate in a lot of these Friday the 13th movies. My favorite ones usually are the ones that are a little bit lighter.
Yeah.
I agree with generally everything that you said. It's not like they could have done it a lot worse, but it's definitely not one that I need to like rewatch over and over again. It's got some decent kills if that's what you're looking for, but it definitely is not a fun watch. And I don't even really get like summertime vibes from it, really. Like, it doesn't even.
Yeah, I mean, there are cabins there, like they mentioned, because they do that whole intro sequence really badly, actually, about the mom, and Jason finds her head, and there's mention this abandoned, summer camp. But yeah, it does, like, and he's living under it kind of and shit. I don't know. I didn't really like the route they took with that one.
Yeah, I think that like very gray blue washed out sort of Platinum Dunes look totally detracts from like the summertime vibes. And
for sure,
you get tired of seeing that. Not everything has to be like weird gray blue.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. It's okay. It's fine.
Yeah.
What do you have anything else you want to mention about the remake?
Nah.
Okay. Well,
I can't believe it's been 13 years though.
Yeah, I know. Hopefully we get some more Friday the 13th movies, and hopefully whoever makes the next one is going to inject some more like levity into it and take it a little less serious.
Yeah. Or has at least an interesting idea they can run with.
Yeah, maybe he actually goes to Manhattan.
Sure.
I'd watch it.
I still want to see a snow, Jason. I still want to see a winter version. That'd be dope.
That would be badass. So yeah,
Christmas, dude, a new Christmas horror movie.
Dude.
Friday the 13th. That would be sick.
Jason Xmas.
Dude, there you go.
I would watch that.
And this would be the 13th entry. You got to make it good. You got to do it. Maybe they'll do like a Jason metaverse where all 13 versions show up in one movie. That would be nuts. That would be not good.
Even the worm version is
dude,
just like,
the worm. Oh my god, and just the kid version.
Yeah, and maybe even his
most
mom.
of them kind of like this. I mean, they don't. One thing I will say about rewatching this franchise is, like going through and a bunch of the ones I never saw before, is they do like show his face every time. Yeah. For some reason, when I first got into the series, I was under the impression that they just didn't. But they do, like almost maybe in every one they show his face. And it gets more and more ridiculous.
Yeah, each time it's like more and more mangled because he's, rotting or on fire or drowning in a lake or, whatever.
7 is the one that sticks out in my mind. It's like so ridiculous.
You see his like spinal cord and his ribs and shit. Yeah, it's pretty rough.
Oh my god. Okay, we're gonna try to rank all 12.
I'm down.
Let's try.
I'm down if you are. Oh, okay.
Let's try it. I'll
do
my best.
You want to just run yours down and then I'll do mine?
Yeah, I'll try. So I kind of have like these broken up in my mind. Like I actually don't have, I just have this list of kind of like 3 categories of, like you don't need to watch these. Some kind of like middle tier where like you can watch these, if you're in a certain mood, and it's like fine too. I wouldn't sway anybody, but I also would never like particularly reach for them, I guess. And then like the ones you should watch. So I'll start at the bottom with like, don't watch these movies. I would say my personal ones of I never really want to watch them again would be Jason Goes to Hell, Manhattan, 5 and 3. So I think, which one's the worst, man? I don't know. For some reason, 3 just like stuck in my craw. I just hated it. I don't know why. I just really did. But it's a game of inches at this point. So I'll just say, oh man. 3, 5, and 8 are also bad. Damn, 8 is so damn boring though.
Yeah, it is.
I'll say 8, 3, 5, and then Hell, because at least it's got some levity and some like ridiculousness to it. That those bottom 3 really could, like, there's no, they could switch.
All in
they're
last
bad.
place. Yeah.
They're all down there. And then Hell is like slightly above all 3 of them. So yeah, those. Now in the middle, I would then go, so Hell, then I would probably put the remake maybe slightly above that one. And then 7 with the telekinesis girl. And then I think Jason X is going to hit my like top medium. Like it's almost in the, I would say, must watch. Yeah. But like if you've never watched a Friday the 13th, then like Jason X, like I don't know, it's so cheesy and so ridiculous that it's like, I don't know. If you've watched 2 of them, I would tell you to watch it. But other than that, like I can't just recommend that you
don't start with it for sure.
So yeah, I'll go Hell. And then right above that one, what I say, a remake is okay enough. Telekinesis, number 7, and then X above that one. So that's my medium tier. And then above that, I'll probably put Freddy vs. Jason, because I really like X and Freddy vs. Jason are kind of in the same almost category where they're like a lot of fun, but you can't just watch it without being familiar, I guess. So I'll put Freddy vs. Jason right above Jason X. And then maybe 2 above that one. And then 1. And then I don't know. I might go 4, 6. 6 might be my top.
All right. Yeah.
I feel like 4 and 6 could switch out pretty good. And 1's up there, but because Jason's not in it, you know, it's kind of hard. 2 did like kind of lose a step for me this watch around. But then when I watched all the other ones, I was like, oh, okay. It really is
pretty good.
The bad. Yeah. So I think if I can try to run it down one more time from the top, I think I'd go 6, 4, which could change at some point. 1, 2, Freddy vs. Jason, Jason X, 7. Oh shit! Remake. Yeah, Hell, and then the worst 3, 5, Manhattan. Yeah. So that's I think I'm pretty comfortable with that.
Solid ranking.
Yeah, Bob, how are you feeling? What's your rank look like?
Yeah, I kind of look at the list the exact same way. It's like 3 groupings of 4 that are like, you really don't have to watch them. You could watch them. You should really watch them.
Yeah.
And we're pretty close on the most part here. Starting at the bottom, I've got A New Beginning, Part 5, Jason Takes Manhattan, number 8, and then Jason Goes to Hell, and then Freddy vs. Jason. Those are like the 4 that I don't know that you really need to watch any of those, but you, I mean, I guess you could. After that, I've got Jason X, the remake, Part 3, and New Blood as sort of like my middle tier. And then my top tier, I've got the original Friday the 13th, Jason Lives, Part 6, then Part 2, and then the final chapter is my number 1.
Number 4, so you go 4, 2.
Yeah, so I'll do it the reverse, from the top to the bottom. So my number 1 would be Part 4, the final chapter, then Part 2, then Part 6, Jason Lives. My number 4 would be the original Friday the 13th. Number 5 would be New Blood Part 7. Number 6 would be Part 3. Number 7, the remake. Number 8, Jason X. Number 9, Freddy vs. Jason. Number 10, Jason Goes to Hell. Number 11, Jason Takes Manhattan. And number 12, A New Beginning.
Okay, so we're pretty close. There's some slight differences. I think the biggest difference is 3. You like 3 a lot more than I do, and I like Freddy vs. Jason a lot more than you do. But they still kind of switch out at like our medium areas, or kind of. So yeah.
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 I think our top 4 are the same, just in a different order. So,
different order.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are the 4 that you should watch. You should watch 1, 2, 4, and 6. That's a good combination of, I feel like, the summer camp vibes, with 1 and 2 really about the summer camp. And then 4 and 6, I feel like, are really the best of kind of like Jason starting to get into some of the kind of the silliness about it or whatever. So yeah. Those are the essential watches for sure if you're getting in this franchise. 4
is like the first movie that you see Jason as we really like come to know him, like in his final form and his brutality, and he's killing people on a lake, and there's no like shtick about it. It just sort of is what it is. I think it's kind of like the penultimate Friday the 13th movie. And then part 6, you get that, but they lean full into the comedy. So if you want to do a little Friday the 13th marathon, 1, 2, 4, and 6.
I think I was about to say, I think I like when I'm having just a lot of fun in a Friday the 13th movie. Mm-hmm. But no, I mean, 1, 2, and 4 are my other tops, and those are played fairly straight. So I guess, I don't know. That depends on the mood, I guess.
Yeah. So check those out if you haven't. Let us know what your favorite Friday the 13th movies are. If you like our ranking, if you disagree, let us know why. We always want some feedback from you guys. Let us know how you're celebrating Friday the 13th this year. We only get one, so make it count. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this bonus content going up on Patreon. And if you guys do support us on Patreon, thank you so much. It does mean a hell of a lot to us, and it helps us keep this show going. Juice, anything else you want to add before we sign off?
Oh no, man! This is a good little bonus content. Thanks for supporting the squad.
Yeah, it's a chunky one. It might be it's probably the longest one we've done so far, but we're covering 12 damn movies, so it takes a minute.
Yeah.
Thanks again for tuning in, guys. Thanks for all your support, and until next time, as always, keep chilling. Ha ha!